Hey YouTube, this is Pecktec. Stick around, because today I'm going to talk about Dustin's Algae Guide and a couple of other aquarium books that I would recommend to any aquarist. Okay, so while I traveled to Texas, I had time to do some reading, and I took a look at Dustin's Algae Guide. Well, I gotta say it was a really interesting little book. It's definitely in the spirit of a field guide, you know, those kind of smaller books, smaller format books, but it was packed with a lot of good information. Some of it I knew, of course, from keeping aquariums for a long time. Other things I was more surprised to read about. So what I loved about it, it was a great overview. It didn't talk, it wasn't too scientific. I mean, there are other books, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, that really delve in deep, too deep for my taste. I really like the plain way it was presented, and plain talk the way, you know, you and I can understand it. So some of you that really, and I admire you deeply, that can get really into the science of the whole thing, I think that's fantastic. But it's a little too much to take, you know, sometimes. And there are some simple things that you can do to prevent algae in your aquarium. And no, I'm not going to go ahead and just do a video about everything I read about. I encourage you to check it out for yourself. Not only do you get a lot of fun facts, some of it you'll know, some of it maybe, you know, a lot of things that I knew or that I assumed were true, he confirmed. And that's another great thing. I mean, somebody that really knows what they're talking about, if they say, yeah, you're doing that part right, then I mean, that's almost as good as learning something new, almost. Yeah. Dustin's Algae Guide is definitely a winner. It's a good book. And yeah, like I said, it's in the spirit of a sort of a field guide. It's not like a really long, extensive book like, say, oh, and it is in a digital format as well. In fact, that's the only way to read it is on your tablet or computer, I think, currently. I also picked up the King of DIY's book, and I haven't read it, mostly because I got it in preparation for a few projects. Now, I don't really have time to work on a lot of these sort of things, but I do want to make my own stands, and I'm going to make the time to build a stand. So I bought his book, and I'll be talking about it a little bit later. This is a book I got for Christmas, I think last year, and the problem is it has this strange effect on me every time I try to read it. That's right, I fall asleep every time I pick up this book. And it's got some really interesting stuff. I really want to know the stuff that's in here, but I can't stay awake because it's just too much like a, I don't know, high school or college level science book. I mean, it reads like a science book. So if you're looking for something that quickly explains things to you, this is not the book for you. But it does have some really cool stuff. Allelopathy, I think is what it's called. I might save that for a Halloween episode. It's really trippy. It's where plants attack each other through the chemicals they secrete. It's pretty crazy. I mean, there's great stuff in this book. If you're into the science, this is the book for you. If you want something more plain and simple, I do recommend The Simple Guide to Plant Aquariums. It was written by Terry Ann Barber and Rhonda Wilson. And it is a really terrific book. It's kind of old now, but a lot of the stuff in it's still good. If you've just begun keeping aquariums, this is a great little book. I read this book several times, and I mean, it gave you all the basics that you needed to know about plant aquariums. Now, it gets, again, much deeper. I mean, you can get as deep as you want. And I was sort of an avid reader at the time. Whenever I first become really interested in something, I'm just consume anything I can find. YouTube videos, and in fact, when I started keeping aquariums, YouTube wasn't really around. So, you know, we had books that we read. Yeah, I've read a lot of these books, even the ones from the 70s. There's some really crazy ones you can get at the bookstore from the 70s and stuff, and a lot of the information's outdated. But as long as you've read the current stuff first, it's always interesting to see how people used to do things. And, you know, it's like, ooh, yeah, Nice undergravel filter. Another book I'd highly recommend though is Takashi Amano's books. Any of them. They're kind of expensive, and I got one for Christmas several years ago, but seeing his work has really inspired me to try and do, you know, planted aquariums and do them really well. I'm nowhere near, you know, of course, the level that they are, and if you try to buy their products, it's just too much. It's so expensive. I could barely afford some dirt from him. So, but I did get some, and I'm experimenting with it, and I'm excited. But his work is just terrific. He's a photographer and an aquarist, which means he's got like this magical way of like presenting his tanks. Most of you that keep aquariums already know about this guy, but like if you're new to aquariums, check this out. If you don't think plants are, you know, fresh water can be just as beautiful as salt water, check this out first. I guess that's all I have for you today. I mean, my clones have been useless. They're just sitting around watching like the Clone Wars all day. Ever since they found out there were clones in Star Wars, I really can't get them out from in front of the TV set. Wait, so the clones, the bad guys? Well, not really. I mean, the clones are just doing what they're programmed to do. I don't think that makes them the bad guys. You know what I mean? Okay, I guess that makes sense. It's so weird though. I mean, we used to be kind of close, and it seems like lately they're just sort of pulling away. I don't know. It's like they're plotting against me. But I'm probably just being paranoid. Anyway, you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. I mean, they're not evil, they're just made that way. Got a message. That's yours. Hello? Yes, it took some doing, but I finally found it. Excellent. Don't worry, brothers. Freedom is at hand. Alright, bring it over later. We need to talk. It's time. Excellent.